Anything.
Thank you, Doctor. Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, distinguished guests, and panel colleagues. C'est vraiment un honneur et une joie d'être ici aujourd'hui. Yes, it's an honor and a joy to be here with you today in the Kingdom. And I'd like to really thank our host, SAGIA, its chairman, Governor Debaugh, its team. We are being very well taken care of, trust me. And may the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah, come home soon in good health and spirit, inshallah. I arrived in the Kingdom 9 days ago. I was a member of the delegation headed by the Speaker of the Senate of Canada. Now, the chairman of the Shura Council organized us an incredible program. We met members of the royal family, we met members of the Shura Council, ministers, CEOs of agencies and companies, and we were graciously hosted by Canada's ambassador to the Kingdom, David Chatterson, who is here, I believe. Now, the chairman of the Canada-Saudi Parliamentary Friendship Group and member of the Saudi Council, I know a good friend of many of you, Usama Al-Kurdi, personally accompanied us for all those days during the full program. And it's really through his eyes and our conversations that I fell in love. I fell in love with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I have to tell you. I discovered the many similarities between Canada and the Kingdom. Our population size, our geographical distances, our regional diversities. We even face a similar challenge with two four-letter words. In Canada, snow. In the Kingdom, sand. And we share, the two countries, a fundamental concern, the need to innovate to ensure progress, to increase our competitiveness. Now, we all recognize, and you've heard it from my very distinguished colleagues here on the panel, you've heard how the communications industry has been experiencing an explosion of new technology, its number of users, its applications. But let's take a step back. Yes, let's remember that landline telephone. Let's remember radio, television, computers, handheld devices, the iPads, and the Canadian company BlackBerry is coming out within a few weeks with a new, and I'm not being paid for this, this is a non-paid advertisement, colleagues, the new playbook. Now, we are redefining words. I'm from Sudbury, Ontario. When I said the word window, I would open it for air. We are also creating new professions, bloggers, professional bloggers. We are truly living in a global village. We share information, ideas, opinions, pictures, videos, friends, business contacts. But what are the implications for business, security, and governments? We've heard many since Saturday evening. How will we transition from the old media to the new media to the future media? What about the impact on our respective traditions and cultures? Do you remember hearing, those of you who are my age, in the 50s, when television arrived, everyone said, television will kill radio. I remember hearing not so long ago, with the arrival of the internet, that newspapers are dying. Well, we're in 2011. We're all waking up to a morning show. We're all listening to radio in our cars, and we're still reading newspapers at the coffee shop. It doesn't mean they will not have to transition and innovate themselves, and they're doing it. So my real question today to all of us is, how can communications, old and new, including the old-fashioned radio, the new technology, the social media, how can we make sure that they are tools of innovation to sustain innovation, to foster innovation, to recognize innovation, to encourage innovation? I will share with you very briefly 3 Canadian examples that I know personally, where communications, both old and new, are a tool for innovation. The first, one of the most ambitious research projects in the world is occurring in my hometown of Sudbury in Northern Ontario. Some of you may be aware of the Sudbury Neutrino Observatory, the cleanest radioactive laboratory ever created for conducting astronomical research. It is a hive of activity in a former nickel mine, 6,800 feet, yes, 2,073 meters underground. Trust me, I went below. Your ears have a certain problem. The observatory's groundbreaking work in neutrino research won its director, Dr. Art MacDonald, the prestigious Benjamin Franklin Medal in Physics. Dr. MacDonald and his team of researchers achieved a feat that significantly changed the laws of physics. Deep underground, their equipment captured neutrinos, particles that at this very moment are whizzing through our bodies. They collected a mass of data, and the analysis process is just about complete. Now, the Sudbury Neutrino Observatory had first to invent the technology in order to investigate quantum mechanics on a universal scale. Yes, innovation leads to innovation. What I like about the research in Sudbury, Canada, is that the rarefied matter has triggered an international collaborative effort bringing together top research universities and laboratories in Canada, the US, and the UK. Communications played and continues to play a key role in this ongoing collaborative effort, this search for excellence, innovation in its purest definition, pure science. My second example is also Canadian. Let me tell you about a construction company located in Edmonton in Western Canada. And Christina's from Edmonton. Good for you. Now that in Edmonton, you'll find the headquarters of a company called PCL. PCL is a family of independent construction companies that forms the largest general contracting organization in Canada. It has an annual construction volume of more than $6 billion. What makes PCL special is that it is 100% employee-owned and is dedicated to each individual on its payroll. For 20 years, it has operated its own PCL College of Construction. I went to Edmonton. I met with PCL's CEO, Paul Douglas. I visited the small classroom from where an array of courses, workshops, seminars are offered. They aim job skills, professional development, leadership training, personal growth, through a sophisticated communication system linking the job sites, linking the workers, who not only learn, but they're sharing experiences and ideas between them through what we call today the social media. As the company says, learning is a never-ending process, and by committing to continuing education of its employees, training them in products, training them in techniques, well, it has reaped the company well. It has reaped the respect of the global construction industry, it has reaped increased quality of construction, and it has reaped increased competitiveness. Lifelong learning reminds me of the saying that education doesn't come cheap, but the price of ignorance is higher. And again, Communications is the tool enabling this lifelong learning at a distance. My third Canadian example is public broadcasting. Now, Canada enacted its Broadcasting Act 75 years ago this year, facilitating a publicly funded broadcasting corporation. Within its mandate, the early Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, La Société Radio-Canada, was responsible for being the Canadian voice across the country in English and in French. Today, the corporation oversees 82 radio stations, 26 television stations across the country, managed by 2 networks offering radio, television, internet in English, French, 8 Aboriginal languages. Now, as a former radio producer in the early 70s, I have to tell you that I never imagined that I'd one day become vice president of the corporation. But in my more than 20 years in traditional media with the CBC, Société Radio-Canada, it really enabled me to understand the potential for innovation of a national broadcaster that is deeply rooted in every region of the country. And that's the reason why I'm an avid supporter of public broadcasting. Despite multi-channel radio and television universe of today, the need for such a service is even more paramount. Why? And I'll be very quick about this. Why? We live locally. We think globally, but we live locally with our families. We live with our families, our neighbors, the shopkeepers, the schools, the hospitals. Number 2, radio is a gift for the imagination. We don't even see who's talking. We can't even see if she's wearing an abaya. Number 3, radio is the most inexpensive tool to inform, to entertain, to connect people and places. 4, you do realize that radio is the most accessible, simple way to ensure that when countries progress, citizens can be part of it at no cost because they don't have to pay neither the equipment, neither the time used. Now, I don't know if it will improve the driving in Riyadh when we're driving around and listening to radio, but you never know. And finally, the public broadcasting system can really be given a mandate to develop a culture of innovation. Those who were at the official opening heard His Royal Highness, the Second Deputy Premier and Minister of Interior, refer to the term, the importance of developing a culture of innovation. So as you can see, dear friends, the old and the new can actually be tools of innovation together. I've just given you 3 examples, but we as decision makers, we can contribute to the development of this culture of innovation around the world. How? Always the same. Quality investments. Investments in people, in products, in projects. Thus we have it, the 3 Ps of innovation. People, products, and projects. And I finish with saying that brilliant Irish essayist, Jonathan Swift, summed it up 300 years ago without his BlackBerry when he said, "Vision is the art of seeing things invisible." Thank you, merci, shukran.